All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Word with Ty Brownlow. I am your host, Ty Brownlow. Remember, no one is worthless. No story is worthless. And today, ladies and gentlemen, I have a very special guest for you. Give you a couple of words about my guest. Mentor, community, business, creator, all the way from Chicago. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Miss Lauran Smith. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
No problem at all. Now, you're here because you do something very special in the city of Chicago. You are the founder of Chicago Black Restaurant Week. Now, for those who are not familiar with anything, can you just please give us a little bit of history behind Chicago Black Restaurant Week?
Absolutely. So Chicago Black Restaurant Week is similar. I really don't want to say similar, but it's under the same premise of Chicago Restaurant Week. And we're all familiar with what that is. But I just felt like Black businesses, Black food, beverage, and dessert businesses needed their own set of events, their own week, their own chance to be spotlighted and, highlighted so that people can support them. They just need their own. So that's how we come up with that. And instead of me asking to be let in, if you will, to another entity, I said, well, I don't have to ask permission to do something for my community. I'm just going to go ahead and do it.
Okay. All right. She just, hey, look at it. She said, skip that. I don't want to see the table. I'll just build my own table. And I'll have my own party. There you go. All right. Nothing wrong with that at all. Now, reading, the information behind all of this, there's a connection with Carter G. Woodson,
yes.
Who is the founder of, Black History Week or month, what have you. Can you tell us your connection with that?
Sure. So back in 1926, Dr. Carter Godwin Woodson was the founder of Negro History Week, to celebrate the achievements of African Americans in whatever area they were involved in. He also saw the importance of Black people being noticed and recognized for their contributions to whatever it was that they did. So fast forward 50 years later to 1976, every U.S. American president around that time and after named February Black History Month. So when I was in the midst of creating Chicago Black Restaurant Week, I always pay attention to what's going on in the city so as not to step on anybody else's toes. You always want to be professional. You always want to have a good work ethic, and you don't want to, burn bridges before you even cross them. So I said, okay, Chicago Restaurant Week falls about a week or two before I was trying to create it, because I wanted to create it in, Black History Month. Made sense. Yep. But then I said, wait a minute. So I can actually have this on the second week in February, which is the week that Dr. Woodson founded Negro History Week. So in an effort to honor his initial legacy, I said, this is when we're gonna host it, second week in February every year, no matter what the dates are. But then at the same time, it also doesn't conflict with what anybody else has going on in the city. And that's how we got to that.
Okay, all right. Now, you know what? I find that to be very, genius of you, because as you said, you wanted the correlation to be within, the same, week within, Dr. Carter G. Woodson starting, National, Negro Week or what have you. And at first it started off where it was just 1 week, but this year you're up to 2 weeks now?
I am up to 2 weeks, yes, because if you think about it, well, we're kind of still in pandemic mode, if we want to be honest with ourselves. So we're still in it. I said to myself, 2 weeks would probably be the push at the top of the year that Black businesses would need to help to try to regain some of that, potential loss of income, if you will, because we haven't been able to operate in a dine-in type of a situation. In the summertime, it was cool because you could sit outside, what have you. Now, Chicago is cold. We know what it is. And some of the businesses have those outdoor heated pods, which are great. And they actually are warm. But we have not been able to have a dine-in situation. And restaurants rely heavily on people coming into their business. Yeah, people place orders and get delivery. But, people like to go out and sit down and have conversations, break bread with family and friends. So because they lost a lot of that, they had to let go of employees. Some had to close temporarily. So I'm like, no, let's just do it 2 weeks and see how much we can just help these businesses to recoup and recover so that they can, financially continue to support their families and the businesses that they have. So yeah, it's 2 weeks this year.
All right, this year. And so for those who don't know, February 7th through February 21st, I believe.
That's correct.
Okay. Yes. All right. So, hey, man, please participate. Now, speaking of restaurants, how do how does one go about getting their restaurant, featured in, Black Restaurant Week?
So the backstory with that, I am also a digital marketer. So I own a digital marketing company, and I'm really big on social media because see, nowadays people aren't really picking up the phone to call people and tell people stuff. People are not creating paper flyers and handing them out, not just because of the pandemic, but because we're digital. That's just what the world is now. So I said, I'm going to start this movement in the digital space. Everybody's in the digital space. Everybody has their phone. My phone is right here. Everybody has their phone in their hand 24 hours a day, 100 days a week. If we could have a week for 100 days. So we're always connected to Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We always want to know what current events are as they happen. So I said, I'm going to start this where everybody is. Everybody is located in the digital space. I don't care who you are. So what it is I will start promoting, registration is open now. If you want to be a part of Chicago Black Restaurant Week, send me an email. Email is in my bio, website is in my bio. Just shoot me over, information, letting me know what your interest is. And then I can give you the registration information and we can go from there. So typically it's either word of mouth because someone's seen it on social. So they're telling their friends, hey, Black Restaurant Week about to start back up. You might want to register. I know you got, or it's return businesses that have done it for the past, now we're in year 6, so for the past 5 years, and they just know when the registration period comes, they know what to expect, they know how I do, and then they just, fall in line. But it's really a digital movement. So it's not that I would, let me call or let me message this restaurant to see if they want to be involved. Some I do reach out to because I haven't been able to contact them in the past. But typically people see it on, Instagram, Facebook, that registration is happening now. You might want to get in because I have to cut it off at a certain point because this is a large calling here. So I can't just be laxed about business. It's still business.
Right.
Well, yeah, it's really it's a digital campaign.
Well, now to your point, me being a native Chicagoan, I just came back from LA, I just moved back from LA, but still being a native Chicagoan, I just remember there was a time when we didn't have as many Black restaurants featured here in the city. Not to say that there were not Black restaurants, but like when you thought of a Black restaurant, it was basically some like Greasy Spoon or some chicken place or what have you, like not a real like restaurant
right,
where I can go and order a 4-course meal or what have you and sit down and enjoy myself. But looking at this list like you have, like a lot of participants, okay, I can't even name how many, but like I was just going down the list looking at some of these restaurants, and you do cater to the vegan community as well. So for all my vegan people out there, she is not, look, no one's leaving you out. We have something for you too. And basically, how can, we continue to support and participate in, Chicago Black Restaurant Week?
It's more a thing of my ultimate goal is for people to realize what's in your neighborhood. Like, like you just mentioned the fact that I do have vegan options, plant-based, different smoothie bars. I have all of that. I've got that as well. So it's more or less, I want you to know that sometimes you may not even have to travel far for those things that you want, because a lot of times we feel like, oh, Well, if I want to get something vegan, I'm gonna have to go way up north, or I'm gonna have to go to, I don't know, Indiana, or I'm gonna have to, you know what I mean? So but if you look at the list and you look at if you click like I don't know where you're looking at the list, like if you're on the website, but if you click the name of the business, it'll take you right to their Instagram page. And 9 times out of 10, their address is on their Instagram page.
Sure.
Southside, vegan spots. You got West Loop, South Loop, smoothie bars. And again, it's not just Chicago. So yeah, I do South and West Side. Let's be clear. I'm never about to discriminate. However, we got South Suburban spots. Yeah. I have my first Evanston location. I mean, that's still Chicago, surrounding areas and the suburbs. Suburbs. I don't know why I can't talk. But it's like, I just want people to know you don't have to look far for those things that you want. And I'm going to even tell you a quick little story. My brother, shameless plug, is a dentist in the Hyde Park area. Mm-hmm. His dental office is located directly across the street from Kenwood High School. It's called Smith Smile Studio. At the time, or the first or second year, I want to say, of Black Restaurant Week that I was doing it, he was looking to support. That's my brother. He's on support. So he happened to see that Lighthouse Whole Food Grill, which used to be on 53rd Street, is right, literally a couple of blocks up from his business. He happened to go there one day. Well, they've since moved further down in Hyde Park. I want to say on 55th or something like that. But at the time, they were on 53rd. He is right across from Kenwood. If you know the area and you know the radius, then you know that's close. He happened to go over there one day and was like, oh my God, I love this food. I cannot believe that I did not know that this Black-owned business was around the corner from the dental office. So now what he has done, if the office has lunches catered, of course, pre-pandemic, let's be clear, if the lunches has, the office has lunches catered in, he will get them to cater it because they have a catering service. So they can feed multitudes of people at one time. So it's, again, my thing is get out in the neighborhood and see what's actually around you, because you could be living somewhere on 75th Street and not even know that Flamin' Restaurant is right there on 75th Street, and a couple of 5 Loaves. I mean, come on. All of those amazing restaurants are right next door or right on the block over from you. So I just really want people to get out and see what they have right near them.
Well, I'm just going to say, shameless plug, 5 Loaves has great breakfast sandwiches. So in case you all were just wondering, man, please make yourself. And, it's funny that we're having this conversation, but you mentioned street like 75th Street. Mm-hmm. And if you've never ventured down 75th Street going east of the, expressway, there's a lot of places on 75th Street that, man, if you really stop to take, a gander at, there's some nice spots on there, that may suit you, so, really, like you said, it's really about getting out and exploring your neighborhood, because something is very, close to you than you may think. So, absolutely. You know what? Look, some of the words I use: community, creator, business. This is what she does. So I wasn't tripping when I said these words. All right. So now let's talk a little bit about Miss Lauran Smith.
Sure.
All right. First and foremost, I found something very interesting. You're originally from Memphis.
That is right. South Memphis, Twinkle Town. I never let people forget it. Chicago's not my home. I only reside here.
Okay. All right. So how does one from Memphis find themselves here in the city, starting up, something, as extravagant as, Black Chicago Restaurant Week?
So
drove you here.
So here, I moved to Chicago with my family when I was 12, either 11 going on 12 or 12 going on 13. Can't remember right off, but I have been here well over 30 years. But Memphis is still my home. This is where I'm from. I mean, Memphis is where I am from. But living in Chicago, really what it was when we moved to Chicago, we lived in South Shore for 1 year. And I went to Beasley Academic Center for grammar school. But my mother was not a fan of the city life. We aren't used to that life. So she said, no, I want to move out to the suburbs. So we ended up out in Flossmoor. I graduated from Homewood Flossmoor High School, all of that. Later went to college, SIU Carbondale, graduated with my bachelor's in English, whatever. So bring it back to Chicago. you live here long enough, you start to notice what's around you, right? So you asked me, how did I come up with the whole concept, or how is a person from Memphis been doing, anything for Chicago? Well, here's my thing. I want to always make the best of my time anywhere that I am. I had an amazing time in college. I made the best of my time there. I had an amazing time when I lived in the suburbs, made the best of my time there. So when I moved back to the city as an adult, living on my own, doing my thing, you start to learn your city that you're in. You start to learn what's around town. You find out that your friends have businesses you want to support. And my thing is, as an adult, I did not feel like I was doing enough to support my community. Everybody, has their own ways of how they like to do stuff. Maybe people like to go out and, feed the homeless or love all of those things. But I wanted to figure out what was going to be my thing. So I'm a big fan of community, service to the community, a big fan of just Black people, period. Because, we do a lot of good stuff. But I'm also a big fan of food. May not finish a meal, but I love me some food. So I said, how can I marry the two? What is the need? So I said, you know what? And what's crazy is the summer of 2015, I was at a Black event.
Okay.
Patronizing, an establishment. One of my friends was introducing her cigar line.
Okay.
I'm sitting there minding my whole entire business. But the thing about me is every time I go somewhere, I take a journal. Like there's always a journal either in my bag or it's one in my car. You never know where inspiration is going to hit. And sometimes I just need to write stuff down. I don't care where I am. I have a journal or access to it. So I started looking online. Chicago Restaurant Week started promoting early, saying, oh, we're coming back in January. Get ready, all this and that. So I said, Chicago Restaurant Week. Love them, love them, love them. But is there a Chicago Black Restaurant Week? So at that event, I sat there and I looked online. I looked everywhere to make sure that before I did anything, I wasn't stepping on anybody's toes. Because again, that's just not how you conduct business. Didn't see anything. Created the Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter accounts right there at that event. Wrote all the stuff down, passwords, all that. Secured what was going to be the website at that event. Bought the domain and, said I'll handle all that stuff later. Put a message on my personal Facebook page. And I said, y'all, what would y'all think? We know about Chicago Restaurant Week, but what would you think of a Chicago Black Restaurant Week? Within minutes, I had over 100 followers to all of the pages. So I said, oh yeah, there's a need for this. There's a need for this. I'm supposed to be doing it. So this is just what's going to happen. I'm going to do it. And that's how we go. And that's how that came about.
All right. Well, look here. I thank you. I know all of Chicago thanks you because, like you said, we're in our 6th year now.
Yes.
And we're going strong. And, not only the 6th year, we're giving you 2 weeks. So the one. All right. Okay. All right. Now, man, like I said, looking through your bio, Alpha Kappa Alpha.
That's right.
All right. Okay. Now, you just mentioned you graduated from SIU, Southern Illinois University. Tell us about AKA and why AKA.
So my dad is an Omega.
Okay.
His 2 younger sisters are AKAs. My mother, rest her soul, she never pledged to a Greek letter organization, and that's fine. She didn't really care. Some people don't care about that stuff, and it's fine. But I was always around my dad's youngest sister, who was AKA. She pledged at University Tennessee or UT Chattanooga. I think I got that right. University Tennessee Chattanooga. Yeah, that's it. So she pledged there. And just again, her influence over my life, her example of, how a woman is, not to say that my mother didn't give me those things, but again, as a baby, and when my parents had to go and do whatever it is they needed to do for work or whatever, I spent a lot of time with her. So I just picked up on a lot of pink and green things. Nobody ever forced that on me, but because of the examples of women, the strongest examples of women in my life were Alpha Kappa Alpha women. Even some of my mother's friends were women of Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority. So it was a natural decision. Like there was absolutely no other organization that would have been able to fit for me. So it was going to be AKA or bust. So yeah, I pledged at SIU Carbondale. I crossed the spring of 2000. And what's crazy is a lot of people are like, oh, service this, service that. But I didn't learn community service from my sorority. I learned community service and, altruism from my parents. They always wanted to help people in the community. They always wanted to give back. They fed homeless. We put together turkey baskets and things like that for family when we were in Memphis, and also when we moved here to Chicago. So I learned service from my family. AKA didn't teach me that, but all sororities and fraternities are service organizations. So again, that's just another extension. AKA is just another extension of who I actually am.
And okay, all right. So because of that, I'm going to ask this question, and I'm going to ask it different because most people ask, well, how does being an AKA help you? And no, I'm not going to ask that. I'm going to ask it this way: being brought up and becoming an AKA, how does that experience transfer into everyday life and how you conduct your business?
Because I look for a sense of, no matter where I am, I look for a sense of community. Just, AKA the sisterhood, the bond, I get all of that. And I know that I'm not gonna always have that wherever it is that I go, but I always look for, what is this organization doing for the community? How is this organization helping the greater good? What are they doing? Why do I want to be affiliated with all of these other different things that are going on? I know why I joined AKA, but why would I want to align myself? You know what I'm saying? Like jobs or other service organizations. It always has to have a purpose that aligns with the type of person that you are and fits where you're trying to go. Now, being a woman of Alpha Kappa Alpha, it has connected me to a lot of different rooms that, just being Greek period would otherwise not have afforded me. And I hate to say that, but that's just the truth of the matter. Sometimes somebody could look at your resume and say, oh, she's AKA, she, did this. They could be a Delta, they could be a Zeta, they could be a Kappa. But if they see that you have a Greek affiliation, a lot of times they understand what it means to be on one accord, to make a common goal, go where it needs to be. What it means to have community service, an orientation to community service. So they already know you have what they know the organization to uphold as a work ethic. So, it's being a part of that, again, that's just one aspect of who I am. I'm more, people ask me, oh, you're AKA? Yeah, but I started Chicago Black Restaurant Week. Do you know about that? Because that does, I'm not governed by my sorority. Love my sorority. And I do not regret it at all. Love it. Will love it to the day that I die. But I know that I'm more than just the 3 letters that I get to wear on a sweatshirt or a jacket. You know what I'm saying? I make the organization. You know what I mean? You have to get in. If you're going to join something, you make it better than what it was before you got in there.
Well, I will say, being a member of a Greek organization, of a Black Greek organization, Phi Beta Sigma, I know exactly where you are coming from, and I know exactly every word that you speak, but also the actions behind it as well, because
that's right.
Pretty much at the end of the day, as you said, you are much more than, the letters across your chest, as you said, or as we've been talking about, community, all right? Chicago Black Restaurant Week, ladies and gentlemen, all right? That just doesn't fall out of anywhere, like that comes from somewhere. As I said, creator, one of the words I use, business, bringing people together, over 10,000 people, supporters, a collective. That word I didn't even bring up. I should have brought up, but I didn't bring it up. Collective, there you go. All right, we're just gonna throw that in there. So if people want to get in contact, how can people, get in contact with you or Chicago Black Restaurant Week?
They can follow all of the social media. So the Twitter is Chicago BRW. The Facebook and Instagram are the same handles, official Chicago BRW. And then my email address is also listed in the bio of my Instagram account. And then the website is CHI blackrestaurantweek.com, where you can find the list of the restaurants. You can learn more about me. You can see some of the media highlights that we've had. And I don't want to neglect to mention this. This year, I partnered with 2 major organizations, not just to Chicago, but just to the world in general. Okay. Anybody in Chicago pretty much is familiar with Jamal Cole, who is of My Block, My Hood, My City.
Yes.
He's one of the partners for this year, and also Uber Eats. Now that is a nationally recognized organization, and they contacted me to want to help amplify the message of Black business support. So I said, we absolutely can do this. Let's do it. And so we got the restaurants all registered and signed up. And, you know, even though the week has just started, people are really going out and ordering, or they're going to pick up, or, you know what. I'm just happy that the message is amplified times 8 million or whatever it is. You know, these people have a large following, and I didn't do it because of their follower base, but I knew that Uber Eats is a largely recognized organization, and they're about food. Yes. And I knew that Jamal is all about community, all about Chi-Town, all about service. So, you know, I don't just, you know, somebody say they want to partner with me and do, what would be the benefit to my organization to partner with you? Now, with those two, I absolutely recognize the benefit. But, you know, I get people all the time that want to, you know, I want to do it. No, because nope. It's got to be something of sustenance if I'm going to, you know, partner with
well, okay. So, you know, pretty much sometimes on my show, I talk about branding and brand. You are a brand. And, you know, before anything else, you know, before you even sign your name or even consider putting your name on something, you have to ask yourself, and you hit it on this earlier, you know, how can this benefit me as well as me benefiting, you know, it as well. So, you know, if it doesn't align, you know, with your original mission, why even, you know, allow yourself to it? So, you know, just go ahead and separate yourself from it, because that's not part of your brand. All right. I agree. All right. Miss Lauran Smith, we've come to the last question of the show. The question that my show is known for, so I have to ask. What is the one word that best describes you, and why?
I would say the one word that best describes me is resilient. I would say resilient because every year around this time, I expected whatever. I get hate messages from racist white people. I get hate messages from Black people. I get people telling me what they think I should do, or if it were them, they would do X, Y, and Z. I don't make time for stuff like that. Like, I never have time for the foolishness. I expect it to come. I'm not worried or concerned about my safety, because, I mean, you know, let's be clear, people really don't want it. And it's not just because I'm some type of way, but it's the people, you know, that I'm connected to. And I'm not talking about criminals. I'm just talking about the people that can get some things done legally, police officers, Secret Service. Like, I have a connection, and people really don't want to take it there with me. But, you know, if I ever thought that something was going to be too ridiculous, I would notify them, of course. But I would say resilient because even to fast forward to now, right before I was about to start gearing up for Black Restaurant Week, people like, oh, I know Black Restaurant Week is not going to happen in 2021. I said, oh, I know that it is. Like, nobody's going to tell me that I'm not going to be able to do anything, because here's the thing. We've had to pivot and adjust to the way that we order food. Think about it. Yes. We know that we can't dine in, or, you know, we've been restricted. Restaurants are under heavy restrictions. We have a whole pandemic that's still out here. People are still getting sick, and it's still not safe in some respects. True. But we know how we have to do when it comes to, oh, you know what? I think I'm gonna place an order to Luella's and get them to deliver it to my house, whatever the case may be. So we know how we've had to adjust. Right. You can do the same thing with Black Restaurant Week. It's the same thing. Now, Mayor Lori Lightfoot, thank you, has opened up restaurants to have 25% capacity. And if I'm not mistaken, I just saw an article that said that she opened up larger restaurants to be at 50% dine-in capacity. So again, she's trying to help to restore businesses in the city of Chicago. And it's going to help businesses to be able to sustain themselves. So I say resilient because you constantly, if you're doing anything good, you will be faced with adversity.
Of course.
And it's fine, but you're not going to stop what I'm doing, because the thing is still going to go forward, because it's not about me. I'm trying to help people continue to feed their families. I'm trying to help businesses continue to be able to hire employees so we can get some of these people off the street. Crime is reduced when people are employed, if we want to be honest with ourselves.
That is true.
Show people a different way. to, navigate through life, then we won't have a lot of the problems that we have out here. People don't have enough to do. And I will say this about Lighthouse Restaurant. They are always looking for ways. I don't know if they're hiring right now, possibly, but people can check. Mm-hmm. Always looking for ways to hire people that may have felony convictions, may have records. They help them. They want to do their best to help them. So again, me helping these businesses allows them to help other people. So it's a domino effect. So I say resilient because nobody can tell me no.
Well, I'm going to go a step further than resilient. All right. I'm going to go trailblazer.
Okay.
Because seriously, who else had Chicago Black Restaurant Week before you thought of it?
Nobody.
Okay. All right. So there's my point. So, I mean, you blazed that trail. And as you said, getting adversity, pushback from something, obviously you're doing something right, when you start getting pushback. If you don't receive any pushback or anything of that nature, then just keep going. Just keep going until you do, you just got to keep digging. Mm-hmm. But, I think, everything that you've done up to this point is very noble. And as you said, community, business, creating, opportunities for people. And as you just talked about, the restaurant, the Lighthouse? Yes. And, maybe, next year there will be a component whereas they can be featured at the forefront where they can start getting more help or what have you, for people who have been formerly convicted or what have you. So I didn't even know about that until you just said something. But, your opportunity of highlighting them gives them an opportunity to highlight who they are, which can help someone who really needs that help, who's probably been shunned by, the restaurant community, elsewhere, what have you. So I'm just going to say, man, I've enjoyed having you here on the show because just finding out everything, that, pretty much everything that you've done and everything that you do, man, you are more than welcome to come back at any time to promote whatever it is you need to promote. And I just thank you.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate you having me. And I want to also say that I appreciate you understanding the value of community and understanding the value of just trying to do something for somebody else. Because I promise you, if I didn't have to talk, not you, but like the TV and, the media, the news stations and all of that, if I didn't have to go on there, I wouldn't, because I actually am painfully shy. But because it's something that I created, they want to talk to me. And because it's something that I know, I have to do it for the businesses that have signed up for, the support. So I really appreciate you understanding the value of what has been created for Chicago. And I just hope that people get out and order and go dine in if you're not afraid to do so, but support these businesses so they can feed their kids in college. I mean, hire people. Yes. It's important. We're important. So,
man, I'm just going to say, please go to the website, Chicago Black Restaurant Week.com, or just type in Chicago Black Restaurant Week 2021. Take a look at the list of all of the restaurants on there. Trust me, folks, I've been on there. Man, tons of restaurants on there. North, south. If you over east, cool. Out west, definitely. As you said, even in Evanston. So for all my people going up to Northwestern or doing whatever it is that you're doing up north, man, support. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, this has been Word with Ty Brownlow. I've been your host, Ty Brownlow. No one is worthless. No story is worthless. You can follow me on all social media platforms at Word with Ty Brownlow, or you can just go to my website, tybrownlow.com, get this wonderful interview plus other great interviews, and also go to Anchor, Word with Ty Brownlow on Anchor, and get the podcast version of this and get the audio so you can just listen to it while you work out, do whatever it is you want to. Ms. Lauran Smith, thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right.